Ah, the Master Grade Barbatos. I wouldn't be talking about you unless it was for convenience. So about 24 to 25 days ago, I put up a video about the high grade Barbatos Lupus, and I'm pretty happy with that video. Now I made the video thinking it would be, hopefully, timeless. But then Bandai must have heard about my blood sacrifices. Master Grade Barbatos Lupus. Oh my god. I'm gonna come. I thought it would be a good idea if we took a look at the actual currently released Master Grade Barbatos. And Vidar, when I get my hands on it. Speaking of getting my hands on things, I got this guy here when I went to Sydney a few years ago, back during 2021. The trip was mainly to go see Hamilton with my brother, but I couldn't resist going to Hobbyco. I saw this guy there and I thought to myself, I can't throw away my shot. Oh boy, was it a nightmare to build when I got back. I built it right after I got home, and it may have also been my first ever Master Grade, but I can say with the utmost confidence that it was worth it. Just looking at it, goddamn. Most of my friends who build a Gunpla typically prefer Master Grade. With the presence and detail this guy has, I can see why. I like the high grade, but this makes the other one look like trash. Although, there is something I do prefer about the smaller guy here. Interchangeability. There's a whole line of high grade that I can use for customization. They're all small and it's pretty easy. More merciful on your wallet too. At least at the time. It's just an option set, why is it so much? The bigger guy may be a bit more limited in that aspect, but there is quality. Loads of part separation and detail. Something which I'm not sure I'll be able to convey is how it feels. It may look only about like twice the size, but there's about 4 times the mass. Don't even get me started on the joints. It's like Bandai turned a professional chef into a toy designer and went, make it good. There's so much. And even like some specialty stuff like in the elbows. I'm never getting a girlfriend. Anyway, accessories. There's what I like to call a decent amount. You get not hands, but fingers. You get closed, open, and grabby. If you're like me, then you'll probably not touch the closed ones. The open ones are fine, but I do have a bit of a problem with the hoarding hands. Instead of standard pegs, they have more of a groove system. Works fine with the gun and the sword, but it doesn't quite hold on to the mace, and it leads to posing the mace being a little bit of a challenge. To be fair, it's probably more of an age thing. Poor guy can't keep it up. But the mace itself is pretty nice. It's pretty well detailed for something that, frankly, didn't really need it. Like its main purpose is hitting things. There's some special features to it as well. This little thing was in the show. If you know, you know. Be warned though, it can be pretty loose. May just be my copy, but best to let you know. These can also come out of the mace. A little Master Grade exclusive thing. They're a cool idea, I just don't think the Barbatos would use them. Just tip, let the Barbatos hold the mace with 2 hands. Something he can only hold with 1 hand though, is this sword. And it is by far my favorite accessory. It's just like 2 pieces, it's detailed very well. The white piece can fall off easily, but who cares? It's almost perfect, it's just that the long distance booster has a better sword. Sorry. To store the weapons, you get some adapters. They don't plug into the back, no. They sort of slot in, and you slot the weapons into them. It's a fine system, it looks pretty cool. Although, Gravity may wanna have a word. Why did they use this system? Probably because there wasn't enough space in the backpack, specifically for this little feature. I'm a little shocked they even tried this, but honestly works out pretty well for posing. Makes stuff like this pretty dynamic. just be a bit careful, otherwise you might... yeah. Now, I'm not going to blame the pistons entirely, since everywhere else they work fine. But I will blame this sniper rifle. Don't get me wrong, probably the best looking weapon and the most complex to build. Even has this little feature. And is of an impressive size. Just making him hold it though is a bit of an issue. You gotta do like this, then that, then this. Just make sure to do that. Ooh, don't forget that. And make sure to clean it up. So much preparation for something that's... yeah, okay, it does look actually kinda cool. Best to put it on a stand, but just be careful. Trying to do something like this is how I broke it many moons ago. If you want to display this, I will suggest leaving it on its back. Despite its size, it doesn't get in the way at all, really. On the ground or in the air, which can be helped by using the stand adapter, which is included, with an action base. Not included. Not mandatory, but I would heavily suggest buying one for him. And the last accessories you get are the palette figures. Neat opening gimmick, but really, no parts for the other forms. To give some context, this is the 4th form. In total there are 6, and they're all available in one P Bandai set. Hope you're able to pony up the cash for that. And one issue that I guess I've just been saving for the end. These shoulders. Before you ask, no, it's not how the shoulder armor attaches. It's these bits here. Instead of using one of the systems that worked with the high grades, they've gone with a system where the arm more or less plugs into the shoulder adapter. It's a neat system, but a word of advice, don't try to remove them or try to pull on them, since you may do what I did, which is bending the clip out of place. Which leads to, well, this. It may have been me being a bit too rough when I was younger, but I'm still gonna point it out as a potential issue. And before I forget, here's some size comparisons. I totally didn't have to add this in later. And well, I guess that's kinda it for the Master Grade Barbatos. Overall, you can tell it's quality stuff, but it's not perfect. Longevity hasn't exactly been too kind. And they do try to reinvent the wheel when I think they should have just left it as is, along with the accessories, which could be classified as the basics. I went into this thinking it would be a 10, but it hasn't quite reached those heights. I'm gonna blame a few of the flaws on me, just to be safe. I'm gonna give it a 9. Well, I don't feel quite satisfied. There should be more to this, right? It's not like it's a common thing. Like, okay, give me a second. Okay, I'm here for it. Just give me the box. Well, Hatsune Miku now owns my soul, so let's make the most of it. This is the expansion set for the Master Grade Barbatos, and it is basically just DLC. It's all of the other forms, plus a few extra things. It is nice to get pretty much everything you'd want, it's just that it's P Bandai, so you'll have to go on a bloody hunt to find it. Once you get past actually finding it. What's it like? Is the expansion set good? Well, let's go through this. And starting off with the mobile worker. This thing just feels undercooked. It looks nice and is very well detailed, but that's pretty much it. I feel like this should have had more color to it, and more parts in general. It's all tan, apart from the weapons. which you can interchange. The missile pods are fine, but I prefer the guns. You can even open it, but you don't get a palette figure. Well, a sitting one. It includes Augur, and it's a really nice inclusion. They have him in that one pose, you know the one. And it goes with Mika so well it hurts. You do have to paint it though, so get to it. Speaking of getting to, let's get to the first form. Right off the bat, off to a good start. Without the shoulder armor and the asymmetrical arms, it brings a very scrappy look to the design. In particular, the left arm is pretty much completely different. Even though the inner frame is the same, the armor is what makes it look different. Especially the little shield and this thing on the back. Very appealing colors too. I even like the little additions to the forearm armor. Although it could look even better with some painting or panel lining or some water slides. Which you do get, but I haven't applied any yet. I am planning on putting one of the CGS badges on the shield. And yeah, that's still a thing. It hopefully should not affect the second form. Oh god. Onto the second form, and we are hit with a lot more blue. In reality, it's just gotten some new shoulder pads, which it stole from the greys. But it still looks good, and adds to the visual storytelling. They just grab what they can for armor and weapons and go along with it. Looks bulkier and less lanky too. I just wish we had an actual master grade greys. Now, a personal favourite of mine, the third form. There's not much really different aside from the addition of the claw shot. Can you tell I got sick? I like the claw shot because it's a very Tekkadan thing to do. Steal from the enemy, and then reuse it in a fight. Not only is this in a beautiful purple, which makes me wish for an actual master grade of the Trollbay grades, but there is some functionality, even if it's pretty weak. They could have just gone with a thicker wire and it would have been way better. But I got this, so it's not impossible. Now then, onto the fifth form, flying type. This may look a bit overwhelming on first glance, that's because it is. This introduces new arm, waist, and a piece on the chest. Most of it does work, but the black bit at the front really doesn't. All of your attention is drawn to it, even though there's other cool parts of the design. That's just my opinion though. And it's not like it has no reason for being there, it's actually part of a really cool scene. It doesn't stay on there for long anyway, so now we're talking. A part of the design I really like are these arm launcher thingies. Not only because of the silhouette it gives the design, but because of the features they're given. A beautiful piece of engineering. And this one works pretty well too, even if you can't quite recreate that one pose. And then you get to the boosters, which are perfectly fine. They do what they need to do, and they look real good. They even have a little additional gimmick, and can move around. He also stole this from the Trollbay Greys, the thief. Sorry if it seems like I'm rushing, I just want to get right to the fifth form, ground type. Why didn't they just say 7 forms? Good question. Anyway, this is looking pretty similar to the fourth form, just with some upgraded arms and heels. To quote a friend of mine, slay. And I do mean it, I like the look of the heels. They give some added height too. Not a crazy amount though. Now, the new feet not only add posability, but they have rubber soles, which supposedly help with stability. I don't quite agree, I still find it a bit of a pain, but I might have built it wrong, so I don't know. The arm cannons get upgraded to these ones, and they do look very nice. They even have this little gimmick. Part of me does prefer the missile launches the last form had, but I still really do enjoy these. If you want to talk weapons, get rid of that sniper rifle and that mace, because here onwards in the show, he uses this. This is the chainsaw mace, and it is by far one of the coolest things I've ever seen. A lot of parts go into it, and you can really feel the weight of it. It is also massive. This thing really does add presence to the Barbatos. Now, for those people who have gone into this video without watching the show, not only are you spoiling it for yourself, But you probably also don't know what this thing really is, so I'm gonna explain it in D&D terms. Not only because it's simple, but also because I want to use it. So you can swing it against an enemy for bludgeoning damage, or you can have it open up and the enemy has to make a dex saving throw, otherwise they'll get caught in it. If they fail, they get a whole bunch of piercing damage. I hope you dungeon masters were taking notes. As cool as this weapon is, we've come to the Achilles heel of it. The Barbie can barely hold the thing. As much as I like the weight of it, it's way too much for how the hands work. Plus, there's no grooves like in the other weapons. It's tragic, really. But we're not done yet. For we have the final form of Season 1, and this review, you probably know it. Form number 6. Yeah, I think it's worth it. This is how it looks at the end of Season 1, and I am pretty impressed. We've gone from a very sleek design to a bit of a bulky one that's also tall. It feels like the pinnacle of Tekkaden engineering too, especially with how the shoulders are from Agray's Ritter, and just painted to match the design. They can also move for articulation. There's also this torso armor, which I prefer way more than the one on the 5th form flying type. This piece here is grey compared to the white everything else is, and that does break up the color scheme a bit more since there's a lot of white, like in Genshin. Finally, for the additions, we have these new booster rockets, or like side skirting, whatever you call it. These look really cool. Unlike the ones on the 5th form, these attach directly into the sides, and I think it's better off for that. It allows for articulation, and even has this gimmick here. It's such a small list of additions if you really think about it, but there's so much that changes in the look. And at the articulation level, it's still superb. Although, admittedly, the Barbatos has been taking a bit of a beating while I make this video. The shoulder pad is still an issue, along with the legs. This joint in particular has broken, basically. Well, not broken, more like it's cracked and become very loose. Was I being the most gentle? You could argue not, but I bring it up because I'm hoping that the Master Grade Vidar doesn't suffer the same fate. I know that's starting to release, but I'll have to wait a little while before I can get it, because I live down under. So while I wait for the Master Grade Vidar, and think about getting another one of this, I reckon I'll leave things here. The Master Grade Barbatos is wonderful. The expansion set adds to it, while taking away from your wallet. But I think the lesson I've learned is to be more careful with your model kits, otherwise you might break them. And that eventually, you'll get what you want. Even if I'll be in a retirement home where they make the Master Grade Hydroboshi.